What's up everyone, it's Scott Robertson here. Last pay-per-view review for me in July. We are looking at Vengeance 2003 from the Pepsi Center in Denver, Colorado. 9,500 in attendance, which seems small considering the Denver Nuggets and the Colorado Avalanche play their games there. I believe they still do, I haven't really found that out. 365,000 pay-per-view buys, which is way up on 2004, which was a Raw exclusive pay-per-view, and it actually was just slightly down from 2002, which was 375,000. So this was the first SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view of this brand split era that took place in 2002. And these are some of the matches we will be reviewing. Chris Benoit versus Eddie Guerrero for the new United States Championship. Sable versus Stephanie. Triple threat match main event for the WWE Championship. Brock Lesnar, Big Show, and Kurt Angle. And Mr. McMahon versus Zach Gowen. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's get into it. This is my review of Vengeance 03. First up, it is the US title tournament, the final matchup between Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. So how they got there: Chris Benoit beat Rhino and Matt Hardy, whereas Eddie Guerrero beat the Ultimate Dragon and Billy Kidman. Eddie Guerrero would win the United States Championship, and the reason they brought the United States Championship to SmackDown is because Raw had just recently brought back the Intercontinental Championship, so this was SmackDown's mid-card title, and the US title's been going ever since. And Eddie was the first new United States Champion after Rhino gores Chris Benoit. 21 minutes 54 seconds is your length of time. I gave this an 8.5 out of 10. It's Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. The wrestling leading up to the finish was just so good. It was like they knew each other so well, but they were elevating things in this matchup that you wouldn't normally see. Like, a good example is Eddie hitting the three amigos, but the third one is off the top or top middle rope. Like, Benoit was doing things that he was busting out, like the dive to the outside. The three Germans, they were a lot more vicious because he was wrestling a friend. Basically, they were teasing that they weren't friends, they were former friends. Yet, I would say it was one ref bump too many. That's why I knocked it down. It's still a great match. The Rhino turn, you saw coming. So the first bump, Eddie realizes he's messed up. He tries to lie, cheat, and steal. The crowd are loving it, even though Eddie is the heel in this. But just the wrestling before the finish was just absolutely beautiful. But yeah, I had it at a 9. I knocked off half a mark because of the ref bumps. So next up was an indecent proposal match. It was Jamie Noble versus Billy Gunn. And if Jamie Noble won, he would get to sleep with Tori Wilson, like the film Indecent Proposal. Jamie Noble got his wish. He would win the match with a roll-up. 4 minutes, 59 seconds. That gave this a 4. Nothing too memorable about it, apart from Jamie Noble takes 2 of the greatest bumps I have ever seen for a tilt-a-whirl slam and Billy Gunn's one and only finisher. What I love about this as well is that obviously Noble is trying to sleep with Tori, but he has a girlfriend in Nydia, who, that was another thing I loved about this match. Like, Noble had the match won with like a top rope DDT. Noble gets covered and Nydia puts Billy Gunn's foot on the rope because she doesn't want this to happen. So he gets, and then Noble comes out. It's like, what are you doing? He kisses Tori, Tori slaps her, and then Nydia slaps him. That I really like. Noble's performance in this matchup is the reason it wasn't like a dud of a match. Because he takes incredible bumps, making Billy Gunn's moves look pretty dangerous. And the fact he won, and he was the best thing about this match. So, yeah, it was fine. So next up is the APA Invitational Barroom Brawl. So basically a lot of the lower mid-card guys from SmackDown are in this bar that's been set up at the bottom of the stage. And the rules are basically last one standing wins. It's just a wild brawl. I gave it a 5. I was entertained by it, but Bradshaw was the last one, even though Farouk was in. Wouldn't technically the APA won, but they said that Bradshaw won. So was Farouk not a part of this match? I don't know. Like Funaki falling off the bar was pretty funny. Sean O'Hare doing all these martial art things. Like Matt Hardy crashing through a table at the second attempt. Shannon Moore doing a dive to the outside and then taking a big bump himself. It was just goofy fun. I didn't mind it. So next up was the WWE Tag Team Championship match. It was the world's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, taking on Rey Mysterio and Billy Kidman, who had won a #1 contenders match just not that long ago. Kidman has recently just returned, because in the original graphic he has his long hair. Obviously, as he's come back, he now has his short hair. World's greatest tag team picked up the win. They did it in 15 minutes and 1 second. I gave this an 8 out of 10. This was fantastic. And the sleeper of the night, the crowd really got into it. In particular, there was a near fall that Rey Mysterio has, where you thought that was it, but it wasn't. You knew the world's greatest tag team were good. Kidman and Mysterio were a great team, and I like how Michael Cole mentions that they were tag champs in WCW, albeit the Cruiserweight Tag Team Champions that only were around for 8 days, but they still classed as Tag Team Champions. I think their clash of styles worked really well. It was brilliant. It is genuinely, if you've never ever seen this match, I would of the matches, I would, yes, Benoit and Guerrero was probably my match of the night. This ran it oh so close. It was brilliant. This would be the match I would say check out, because you probably didn't even know about it. Like, there was really good, like Ray does the seated senton to the outside. Kidman does probably one of his better shooting star presses to the outside, but they were doing like really cool moves. Like Kidman had set, I think, Charlie Haas in the middle rope, and Ray just jumps off the top rope with a leg drop. But then World's Greatest Tag Team kind of added their technical side. They were able to powerbomb Billy Kidman, but then they tried it a second time. You can never powerbomb Kidman. Ray comes in with a flip drop kick. Okay. It is honestly a brilliant matchup and the sleeper hit of the night. So this next matchup is portrayed as like a big storyline on SmackDown. It's Stephanie versus Sable. Stephanie is the GM. Sable has obviously come back this year. Is basically, in storyline terms, is shagging Vince McMahon and is Stephanie's assistant, but in reality she is a bit of a bitch. So these two have been at loggerheads with each other, so they have this matchup, no count out. Why not just make it no DQ? I don't know why. But Sable wins thanks to an assist from the A-Train, who basically bullies Stephanie out of the match. Their length of time was 6:25. 6 minutes 25 seconds. 4.5. It was better. Sable is still terrible. I've watched some of Sable's matches. She didn't get any better. Stephanie was the one who was actually doing some of the moves. But yeah, I would compare this to, like, if you remember when Stephanie faced Trish at No Way Out 2001, and it was better than it had any right to be. This would be the Stephanie Trish if you ordered it from wish.com. It's just not as good. But I've upgraded it a little bit higher because of Stephanie's performance. Next up, The Undertaker versus John Cena. So basically it was old school versus new school. So they played off that, like, Cena was just getting a bit too big for his boots and he needed to take him down a peg. He thinks he was the legend, and then Cena was calling back to when he got the respect from the dead man, but Taker's like, well, you've become a little punk ass bitch. I need to take you down a step or two. And that's how we kind of this is obviously if you watch the build up, this is when Cena pisses on a grave and stands in the symbol for the pentagram. Pentagram. Building up to this matchup, but Cena makes one critical mistake. The Undertaker wins the matchup with the last ride, 16 minutes and 6 seconds. I gave this a 7.5. This was better than it had any right to be. It was just a good physical fight. And this is one of the first good matches I saw John Cena. I'm like, he could be a player someday. The story was that Taker was just teaching this kid a lesson, but Cena used underhanded tactics to get the upper hand, and they played off that Taker had busted his lip, or was like internally bleeding, because Cena was like in control, but he would go at the exposed turnbuckle, but then there was a reason for it. He got it, and he also used his chain to smack Taker in the ribs. Great near fall when Cena hits the FU. Taker kicks out. Cena's still got the upper hand, but he does the pose, and that is the one, that big mistake, and you can never make mistakes when facing a legend like The Undertaker. But yeah, really, really like this matchup. Better than it had any right to be. Semi-main is Mr. McMahon versus Zach Gowen. This is like the final of the Mr. America storyline, because Zach Gowen was brought in as like this super fan of Mr. America, but obviously that is now over and done with. And the story is obviously he's a superstar. He wins a contract having a match teaming with Stephanie to take on the Big Show, but help from Angle and Lesnar. He gets the contract. Mr. McMahon's like, well, you'll have your first pay-per-view match at Vengeance against me. But in the end, Mr. McMahon wins, 14 minutes and 22 seconds. I gave this a 5. It's decent, but for what you were getting, I couldn't ask for much more. There was a couple of sloppy moves, like Zach Gowen hits a bulldog and he nearly whiffs it. There was a few other things, and they told a story. It was like Vince basically works on the leg of Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen has a couple of nice little offhand. He does hit a beautiful acai moonsault to the outside, but there was a couple of moves where he just a little bit sloppy. So I didn't rate it like a 6. If the moves are a little bit more perfect, that's what I would have given it, because it was good. But then I like how Zach returns the favor. It's like, well, if I wrestle on one leg, I'm going to make you feel how it's like to wrestle on one leg. And he basically works on Vince's leg. The chair spot, yeah, it was fine. Vince busts open immediately. And Zach makes a critical mistake of going for one moonsault too many. And that's how Vince wins the match. So yeah, it was decent. In fact, I will give it 5.5. It was better than what I thought it was. That's like 2 matches in a row. I thought they were better than what they were going to be. Main event time. Brock Lesnar defending the title against the Big Show, and the return of Kurt Angle, who's come back from his neck surgery. Big Show has pretty much been the main feud for Brock Lesnar since he won the title at WrestleMania 19. Kurt's come back and basically says, I want a shot. And that's how we get this triple threat matchup. And Kurt gets the title back. He wins it in 17 minutes, 38 seconds. I also gave this an 8 out of 10. It is a really good main. It's just a really good, strong main event. A lot of action. I like how Big Show takes control early because he is the bigger guy, and Brock and Kurt have to work together to take basically the Big Show out of the equation. And then we get this triple threat sort of feel where it's like a little mini 1v1s. Then it starts becoming more of a fight feel. And Brock and Kurt never really get going until near the end of the matchup when Big Show is taken out by Kurt Angle with the Angle Slam through the table. I like Big Show was able to get the double choke slam on both guys. We tried it earlier, but Brock and Kurt take him out. And yeah, I was shocked. Well, Kurt winning, I loved. He got a good pop from the crowd. The fact that he pins Brock, I was like, huh. But then it makes sense if you see what happens at SummerSlam. Brock turns heel, and that's how we get the rematch between Brock and Kurt. But yeah, I just thought it was just a lot of great action. Like, anytime Brock and Kurt were in the ring, it was so impressive. So like, each guy got a chance to dominate the other two as well. That's what I liked about it as well. Big Show dominated earlier. Brock was able to dominate both guys, hitting like 2 F5s. It dominates Kurt on the outside. The running powerbomb he does on the Big Show was seriously impressive. But then Kurt's like, oh no, I'm the smaller guy, I need to up the ante. He comes in with a couple of chairs. That's how he takes out Big Show. Tries to fight Brock, but then he dominates Brock for a little bit. And that's where we get the German, including the flipped one, which was awesome. But yeah, I think this was a really fun triple threat match. And it seemed fitting that the main event was good on a very, very good show. Overall, this show is a 7 out of 10. This is a really good blooming show. The fact that I gave 3 of these matches are 8 out of 10 or more, 1 7.5. Yeah, I would say the little blip is Noble, Billy Gunn, and the Barroom Brawl, and Stephanie Sable. That's it. I would easily recommend this show. One of the best shows I've watched so far in quite some time. And that was Vengeance 2003. So, next time, I'm going to take a couple of days off because obviously SummerSlam is coming up, so I'll have a lot of SummerSlam content for you guys. So no video the 28th and the 29th. I'll be back on the 30th with the first of some SummerSlam content. So until next time, I'm Scott Robertson Wrestling. Take care.